Hey guys, this is going to be the red side deck cards that you can play for the set 20 meta. A lot of these cards will that I got from Eggman's website, so props to him for being able to compile all the deck list that I can use for this segment of the video. But yeah, I'm gonna get right into it. So I'm gonna make this a series. I'm gonna have a blue side deck, yellow side deck, and black side deck, and green side deck. So yeah, I'll get right into it. One of the cards you can play is Broly Crown of Retribution. This card is basically a good card so that you can able to side this against the Gamma deck. The Gamma deck likes to keep 3 energy open when they end their turn. So it's really good because you can look at their hand and have free hand knowledge, so you can basically count the number of super combos in their hand. There's not much to say about Crown of Retribution. It's good. One thing that people can play around Crown of Retribution is to only leave 2 energy up with Gamma, and so if they decide to play the Crown of Retribution, you can basically counterplay the Android 18, and then pretty much bottom deck it so that it doesn't come into play and look at their hand. But yeah, this is one thing you have to watch out for. Some Gamma players will actually keep all 3 energy open and then keep a lot of Android 18s in their hands so they can counterplay all of the Broly Crowns that are coming out. But the idea is to be able to get this out of the way so it doesn't hit any of your other cards. When you're playing Gogeta especially, Gogeta is able to essentially play cards for 1 energy anyways, so this Android 18 is able to bottom deck those cards. So Broly Crown is definitely good against Gamma. Other decks that you can play this against is yellow decks that like to counterplay the Vegito counterplay. So there's a lot of floodgates in today's format, so Broly Crown is definitely utilized because leaving energy open is definitely bad against the red decks. I see this card being limited or even banned in the feature ban list, but that's going to be for another video. Another one that I see that a lot of people playing is Pilaf the Cunning. This is a card that basically taxes your opponent cards out of their drop area. In order for them to use the card, such as the Android 21 player, if they use the Ceaseless Despair, which is the 8 drop here on the screen here, at the end of turn they like to untap all their energy using this card. So not all their energy, but 5 energy, but just it's generally all the energy. Pilaf will make it so that they have to warp 5 cards for each of the energy. So if you guys don't know that ruling, this is basically it. If they want to untap 5 energy, they have to warp 25 cards, because 5 times 5 is 25. Another card that Pilaf hits is Dimension Magic or Sensu Bean. Those are cards that are extra cards that like to unstand energy, so restand energy, and by doing so, they are able to basically play the better defense. This also makes it so that if blue decks play overwhelm cards, that basically makes it so that they don't have a drop anymore, and blue is really hard to fill up the drop area sometimes. So Pilaf is really good if you're playing the red deck. This is basically the Cunning archetype is basically for every color, so every color has access to be able to do this. Red just happens to play it better because it likes to use its energy very, very efficiently. Another card you can play is Violet Ray. Violet Ray can be used against the Cooler SCR. The Golden Cooler SCR is being used primarily by Golden Frieza at the moment. But if you're playing a slower deck that relies on a slower strategy, Violet Ray can stop the Golden Cooler from attacking you several times, because what it does is on play it makes your opponent send 5 cards from their hand to the Z energy. So I imagine this card is able to attack 3 times. 40k 40k double strike triple attack is pretty good, so you're definitely going to need something to stop against the Golden Cooler from coming out. In the event that you're playing against a control strategy, Violet Ray will stop the attack from coming out. Another card that hits is the Overwhelm cards that are 30k plus. So Vegeta is definitely seeing a lot more play because it basically replaced the Broly Overwhelm, and so Broly Overwhelm was also a 30k as well, so Violet Ray can stop that. For those of you guys that don't know, I should have mentioned this in the beginning, but Violet Ray is been eroded, so it only stops 30k or higher from attacking you. So you definitely side that in for the 30k or higher battle card swings. Another card you can play is, and I see this even in main decks, is Pilaf Missile. It's a floodgate card that you can use to stop not Topo from coming out, because Topo is a 20k. Topo is a 20k floodgate, so Pilaf Missile will not be able to hit that card, but it does hit all the counterplays and all the other floodgates, such as the Android 14, from the Gamma deck. The Android 14 basically makes it so that it's a floodgate. You have to bottom deck 2 cards out of your hand in order to swing with anything. So with that being in the meta, you can actually activate Pilaf Missile to make sure that they and you can play this for free if you have a Unison out. So most of the Gogeta decks now are playing the Gogeta Unison that has a specified cost of 2. So when you have that out, you can play this card for free by discarding 2 cards out of your hand. Gogeta doesn't care too much about losing 2 cards versus 2 cards for every swing when the floodgate comes down, so you're definitely just going to be playing it for, you're losing 3 cards out of your hand as opposed to 4 cards or 2 cards plus with the floodgate being active. This also hits Robotic Riposte, so if you're playing against a yellow deck that likes to floodgate you, this is a card that can hit that card as well. So generally when you're playing red, you want to be as efficient with your energy as possible, and so this is a free counterplay card that you can use to stop all the floodgates from coming out. Another card you can use is Raditz the Oppressor. This card is basically really good against the Golden Frieza deck. The Golden Frieza deck likes to restand energy by sacrificing one of their Frieza army cards. So if they restand energy, Raditz the Oppressor can basically punish that matchup. Anytime they want to restand energy, they have to lose a battle card, or they have to lose an energy, and no one wants to lose an energy in today's meta because energy is a very precious resource. So it also hits Sensu Bean and Dimension Magic. So those are 2 cards that blue likes to use that this card pretty much stops. I see a lot of people not playing the Beerus Destroys anymore in blue, so if in the event that, especially in today's meta where blue is not using that card as much because they're using the Android 17 Floodgate as opposed to playing Activate Battle, you can bottom deck the Raditz the Oppressor because it does not have Barrier. But in today's meta, in this current meta game, nobody's playing that card in the, or not nobody, but not a lot of people are playing Beerus Destroys in the main deck. A card that you can use against the mirror match is King Vegeta Hidden Ambitions. This is a counter play card that you can just basically use to negate King Vegeta's imposing presence. If you want to aggress the mirror match better, a lot of the times that people like to use King Vegeta's imposing presence for free to basically make it so that they can combo out of swings a lot easier, because if they're swinging for 20Ks battle cards, it basically means that you can just combo only 1K, 5K out of your hand and combo out of it. So if you're worried about that strategy being implemented, you can use Hidden Ambition to counter that and stop it from using. Another card that hits is Wolfang Fist. This is a card that you can basically use to neg 15k off of a battle card swing or even a leader swing, and it ignores barrier too, so it kills barrier. The King Vegeta Hidden Ambition can negate this as well. I haven't found any other utility for it, so I guess if people are still playing After Image Technique, that is a card people can use to pretty much stop battle card swing, because for one, it has a Sparking 5 card. It has a Sparking 5 where you can just take a life instead of paying energy. So these are all examples of cards that don't use energy, and Hidden Ambition will just knock it out of the ballpark. Yeah, that's pretty much it. Another card you can use is Omen of Awakening. Because Topo Righteous Aid, it cannot be hit with the Pilaf Missile. You can use Omen of Awakening since you are a Unison user for Gogeta, GT, and Syn Shenron. Those are both Unison users. You can use Omen of Awakening to stop the Topo Righteous Aid from coming in, and you just have to pay 1 energy for this. It's also good against the Gohan promo, because Gohan promo is a 20k coming out for 1 energy. You can Omen of Awakening that, so there's a lot of utility for this. You can also use this against the mirror match if you're playing GT. They like to rival their 20Ks in for 1 energy that has critical or double strike. You can also hit those cards as well because they have 20k base stat. And then yeah, that's pretty much it. Any card that basically has 20k in, such as Tyrannical Blow is another one too, or Tyrannical Assault, sorry, such as Tyrannical Assault from the Cooler Mill strategy. You can Omen of Awakening it because it does have 20k base stat. You can basically send it to the drop areas so they don't enable their mill strategy. Another card that you can use is Unison of Might. This was introduced to me by the deck profile of John Argios. I don't know how to say his last name, but sorry if I butchered it and you're watching this video somehow. But what it does, it's really good in theory. Basically, all the floodgates that come in can't be played because they're played by their skills, and so if you are able to establish the Vegito Unison of Might and protect the Unison of Might, you can essentially use the -2 ability the very next turn, and then basically stop them from playing battle cards with skills. So I imagine it stops the SCRs from a lot of decks. So Gogeta likes to play their Light in the Dark SCR, which is the Vegito, Xeno Vegito that comes out for Overwhelm. That being able to look at your hand and discarding a super combo is pretty deadly, and it's also a quad strike and gives your opponents it basically gives your opponent's leader another 10k until the end of your next turn. So if you're worried about that, Vegito Unison of Might is really good against that. It's good against the Gamma matchup because basically it stops the floodgates, but also it stops the Cell 9 from coming out, the bio android that basically board wipes your whole board, and then it basically taxes you for using counterattacks on that attack. You can just prevent the whole thing just by playing this card. Against the mirror match or against Syn the matchup, you can stop all their 8-drops, their boss monsters from coming out. Their boss monsters are pretty much win the game for them. The Syn 8 is like a triple strike 30k, and it also becomes a 35k if it gets power reduced. This card stops that card from coming out. This also stops the Gogeta 8 from coming out, which pretty much board wipes your whole board with using the Gogeta 8 card. But this also causes burn application. So in the event that you're playing removal, such as the Gogeta 8 likes to pretty much clear all battle cards no matter what. It also clears another card that clears all battle cards is the Syn 8 as well. So this card allows you to basically burn them alive if you're able to clear all their battle cards. So that's a burn strategy you can use. It achieves an alternative win condition that red has trouble accessing sometimes. So yeah, it has a lot of applications for sure. Another card you can play is Shu. Shu is basically a card that hits all the Android 17 floodgates. But I imagine if you play against Android 21, they like to play on the pan cards that they like to give control of their 1-drop to you, so that they have a blue energy to work with. You can counterplay that card so that they can't use as free energy. Another card they can use is that you can use Shu against is the Trunks Cheetah matchup. Trunks Cheetah likes to play the 1-drops out on turn 1, and if you're the red player and you're going first, you can leave 1 energy open, and then they can play their 1-drop out, and then you can just counterplay it and send it to the drop area using Shu, so it puts them back in turn. I'm gonna go into the non-regular segment of this segment. So we have this Black Smoke Dragon, which basically is a Swiss Army knife. Any color can basically use this card because it's a black card, but it basically makes it so that all the Unison decks can get warped. Especially if they're playing a deck that relies on the specified cost of 2 Unison, such as Cell Reboot. The Cell Reboot really relies on the 2-drop to draw them cards per turn, so you can just warp it out of play, and it also stops the Charismatic Villain from coming out for future turns. It also draws you 2 cards, and it also removes a battle card ignoring barrier, assuming it costs 7 or less. So not much to say about Black Smoke. It has Deflect and it can attack, so definitely combo this away after you use this ability. Another card you can use is Begruding Allies. So in the event that you don't like to play Unisons in your deck because of Black Smoke, you can play Begruding Allies and basically counterplay Topo Raditz if you don't want to lose a life off of Omen of Awakening. This is something that you can use instead of using Omen of Awakening. But the con of this is that it's a black card, so it's awkward to use. Because if you charge it, you won't be able to use your Raditz super combo. So you're definitely keeping this in your hand in the event that you're playing the Raditz super combo. If you're not playing the Raditz super combo, then by all means you can definitely charge this. But I don't see any utility in charging a mono black card, because a lot of cards, especially in the red archetype, requires that you pay all red energy. They don't let you pay colorless energy anymore, so that's a good on their design part. But it's also another con of this is that you have to be at 4 or less life. Sometimes when you're playing Gogeta or even Syn, you don't have 4 or less life a lot of the times. Sometimes you're at 6 life because when you use the alternative awakening condition, you'll have 6 life as opposed to 4. So you'll have to find ways to take yourself down. So it's all about the timing, and sometimes this card is not good enough in that situation. A lot of decks can play Koitsukai. There's a lot of floodgates that are coming out on your turn nowadays, and arrival cards, so this hits all of that. Not much else to say. It only costs 1 energy, and it also allows you to hand fix. So in the event that you don't like the cards in your hand, you can bottom deck it and draw two new cards with Koitsukai. Another card you can use is Jiren Survival of the Fittest. I don't know if blue ramp is now a strategy anymore because a lot of the ramp strategies have fallen out of favor. But in the event that people are still using Turning the Tides to basically make you lose all your cards in your hand, you can just play Jiren and then basically trap them into losing their whole hand and you preserving your whole hand size. But another application I saw this being used is Gamma. Against the Gamma matchup, they like to play the Android 14 card, which is a card that returns cards to the bottom of the deck in order to attack. You can use Jiren instead. If you counterplay the Jiren, you don't have to bottom deck anything because of the Android 14 requiring that. Another application you can use this in is if they play Beerus Destroys. Beerus Destroys is the card that you can use to bottom deck any 2-drop or lower. So if you're afraid of that happening, you can just play Jiren Survival of the Fittest as a counterplay. You have to find a way to counterplay it. So you can basically make it so that Beerus Destroys is dead and Android 14 is dead. Another card you can use is Shin Noble Supremacy. I counted out the turns for you guys, so but if you're going first against Syn and you're siding the Syn, you can play this on turn 3 and then they can't play their Syn on their turn 3 because you're going first. So they can't develop their Syn 8. If you're playing against Gogeta 8, you can play this on going second against that deck. If you're going second against that deck and it's your turn 3, you can play this on your turn 3, and they won't be able to play the Gogeta GT on their turn because you have to attack. Well, they could play it, but they won't be able to attack with it. So that's good on you, and it's only costs 1 energy. This is something you can play for every color, so just in case you're playing against those decks, this is really good against that. Another card you can play if you're playing the Syn deck. The Syn deck is the Shadow Dragon, so because it's a Shadow Dragon card, and this card is colorless, a lot of people think that red doesn't have a way to counterplay or counter. A lot of people don't think that red has a way to have combat tricks. So the combat tricks are cards that you can activate battle on your opponent's defense step or your opponent's offense step, passing over to your defense step. You can actually just warp any of their battle cards that swing really high that doesn't have barrier, and then if they try to go in on it, like basically combo really high on that battle card swing, you can just remove from play for 1 energy and you don't have to worry about it anymore. So this is one of the ways that Syn Shenron is being a red leader can utilize. But yeah, that's all that I have for today. Hope you guys enjoyed the video. Make sure to leave a thumbs up or subscribe. I'm trying to gain a large following for Dragon Ball because Dragon Ball is a really cool game to me. So yeah, definitely subscribe and hit the notification bell. I'll try to make this a series, so I'll have one for blue, yellow, red, and green as well. So stay tuned for that. And yeah, hope you guys enjoy the video. I'll see you on the next one. Peace out.